I almost didn't pick up. The number was local but not saved, and I'd been having the kind of Tuesday that turns phone calls into one more thing to survive. I answered on the fourth ring with a specific tone people use when they're already preparing to say they're not interested. "Is this Ethan?" The voice was older, careful, the kind of careful that isn't timid, the kind that knows exactly how much weight a sentence can hold and is choosing each one deliberately. "Yes," I said. "This is Patricia Okafor, Zoe's mother. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time." I sat down. Not because I needed to, but because something in the way she said it told me standing would be the wrong position for whatever came next. "No," I said. "You're not." Zoe and I had been over for 6 weeks. Not badly over. That was almost the problem. We'd ended the way careful people end things, with honesty and sadness, and no particular villain, which should have felt clean and mostly felt like trying to breathe with one lung. We'd been together 14 months. She was the kind of person who remembered the specific way you took your coffee after hearing it once and never made a show of remembering. Who sent articles with no message, just the link, because she figured you'd know why. Who was funny in the low-key, devastating way that only registers 30 seconds after the fact. I'd met her mother once, a lunch, 8 months into it, a restaurant with cloth napkins, and the specific energy of a woman assessing whether someone was worth her daughter's time. Patricia Okafor was tall, precise, and so thoroughly composed that I'd spent the meal slightly terrified of saying something careless. Zoe had told me afterward that her mother liked me. I'd said I found that difficult to believe. Zoe had said that was exactly why. So when Patricia called, 6 weeks after the end of everything, I sat down and I said I wasn't busy, and I meant it. "I want to be straightforward with you," she said. "I'm calling without Zoe's knowledge. She would be horrified to know I was doing this, and I want you to know that up front so you can decide what you want to do with the conversation." "Okay," I said. "I'm not calling to ask you to get back together. I want to be clear about that too. That's not a decision that belongs to either of us, and it's not why I'm picking up the phone." A pause. "I'm calling because I owe you an apology. And I've been sitting with that for 6 weeks, and I've decided I'm not the sort of person who sits with apologies indefinitely." I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. When Zoe introduced us, she said, "I was not kind to you." I was not unkind either, I want to be fair. I was cordial, I was pleasant. But I was assessing you in a way I was not entitled to, and I made a judgment I had no right to make. And I carried that judgment into conversations with my daughter for months after that lunch, and I believe it contributed to something I regret. She stopped. "I would like to tell you what I actually think of you, if that's all right. What I came to think of you, once I stopped looking at you as a variable and started paying attention." I pressed my back against the wall. The apartment was very quiet. Outside, someone was parallel parking badly, the repetitive sound of a bumper kissing a curb. "Okay," I said again, because it was the only word I seemed to have. "You made my daughter laugh in the specific way she doesn't perform. You know the difference. Zoe has a laugh she uses for rooms, and a laugh she uses when she forgets to manage herself, and with you, she forgot. Her sister told me that. Her sister watched the two of you at Christmas and said, 'Mom, he makes her forget.' And I didn't understand what that meant until I thought about it for a long time." Another pause. "I'm not a person who is easy to love. My daughters know that. I'm demanding, and I'm private, and I have a habit of protecting them by setting fire to things I haven't fully examined. I did that with you. I told myself I was being careful. I was being afraid. My chest did something involuntary. Afraid of what? That she'd chosen better than I did," she said simply. "At her age. That she'd found something at 31 that I didn't find until much later, and even then not completely. She said it without self-pity. Just the fact of it. That's not your burden to carry. I know that. I'm telling you because I think you deserve to know that what happened between my daughter and myself is not a reflection of you, and I believe, I am quite certain, that I made her doubt something she should not have been made to doubt. The parallel parking outside had stopped. The street was quiet. "Mrs. Okafor," I said. "Patricia. Patricia." I found I couldn't continue immediately. I had to find where the words were. "Can I ask you something? Please, is she okay?" A small pause. The first pause that felt unplanned. She's the way she is when she's pretending to be okay well enough to convince everyone except herself. She goes to work. She calls her friends. She sent me a very normal text on Sunday about a book she's reading. Something shifted in her voice. She doesn't play music at home anymore. Her sister noticed. Zoe always plays music. I put my hand over my eyes. I wasn't crying. I was very close to it, which was not something I'd been close to in 6 weeks of being quietly, carefully fine. "I play music too much," I said, and I didn't know why I said it except that it was true. "I know," she said, and something in the way she said it told me she actually did. That Zoe had said it to her, had described my apartment with its permanent low-level soundtrack of things I put on, because silence had edges I didn't trust. "I didn't do everything right," I said. "I know that too. She didn't either. That's not what this call is about." Her voice was even, but not cold, the way things are even when they've been warmed by something and are holding it. This call is about the fact that I have spent 63 years learning very slowly that apologizing when you're wrong is not weakness, and I was wrong about you, and you are owed the words. I sat in my kitchen with my hand over my eyes and felt something shift in me that had been set wrong for 6 weeks. Not fixed, not undone, just shifted into a truer position. Like a joint, relocated. The relief of it was almost painful. "Thank you," I said. "You don't have to thank me." "I know. I want to." She was quiet for a moment. Then, in a different register, slightly softer though she probably would have denied it, "You should know she kept the photograph. The one from the farmer's market. You're looking at something off camera. She said it was the most honest picture she had of you." A pause. "I thought you deserved to know that too." I did know the photograph. I hadn't known she kept it. I exhaled. Slowly, the way you exhale when you've been holding something for longer than you realized. "I still have the bowl she left. The blue one. I've been using it every day, and I don't know if that's healthy or not. It's probably both," she said. And she said it with something that was almost warmth. Almost, and then fully. The things we use without thinking are usually the things that meant something. "Yeah," I said. "Yeah," she said back. And the word sounded strange and right in her mouth, like she'd borrowed it from her daughters. We were quiet for a moment. Two people on either end of something that didn't have a clean category. "I'm not going to tell her you called," I said. "I didn't ask you not to. I know. I'm choosing not to." I found the right words slowly. "Because you did something that took something. And I don't want the reason you did it to become complicated." She was silent for a moment. When she spoke, something had changed in it. Something had come loose that had been held. "You are," she said, "exactly as Zoe described you. Which is the most I can say about a person." And then, quietly, with the phone still in my hand, I heard it, the specific sound of someone who has been composed for a very long time, suddenly not being composed, not weeping, not breaking, Just a caught breath, a brief quaver, the sound of a woman of 63 years who has been holding something the whole conversation and has finally set it down. I didn't say anything. You don't fill that kind of silence. You just stay in it. I should let you go, she said, after a moment. Her voice was level again. Almost, it was good to talk to you, I said. Yes, she said. It was. The call ended. I sat in my kitchen with my phone in my hand for a long time. The blue bowl was on the counter. I'd had oatmeal in it this morning. I would probably have oatmeal in it tomorrow. I didn't call Zoe. I thought about it for 10 full minutes, and then I put my phone face down on the counter and put a record on. Something with no particular memory attached, just sound. And I sat with what I'd been given, which was not resolution and not a reopened door, but something rarer than either of those things. The truth of something offered freely, by someone who didn't have to. There's a specific cruelty in ending things right. No one to blame. Nowhere to put the weight of it. Just two people who meant well, moving in different directions, and the quiet that comes after. The blue bowl. The missing music. A photograph kept in a drawer you don't open every day, but don't clear out either. I went to sleep that night with the record still on and woke up in the dark when it ended, and the silence felt different than it had the night before. Not empty, just still. Like something that had been said out loud and was done now. Done and resting. Have you ever received an apology you didn't know you needed until you were already crying through it? Have you ever had someone name exactly what you'd lost and found that the naming was somehow the thing that let you begin to stop losing it? Tell me. I want to know. And subscribe. Because next week I'm telling you what happened 2 months later, and I promise you're not ready for it.